What's going on, world? It's your boy Gemini Brown here, back with another episode of 𝐦𝐤𝐤𝐿 Knowledge. Today, we'll be talking about everything you need to know about synastry charts versus composite charts. So, let's get into it. Now, I'm prone to do synastry readings here and there. Like I told y'all before, it's been an increase. And whenever I do a synastry reading, I'm always sure to ask the person, have you also looked at the composite? And to my surprise, not a lot of people are aware of composite charts. They're aware of that, what is it called? The Davidson chart, which, I always get asked my opinion on that. It's cool. I don't rule out any type of methods when it comes to astrology. Whether it's regarding progression, solar arcs, I think they all have their own validity, and each technique will speak to a person's intuitive field differently. So go with whatever really resonates for you. But for me, composite charts are so cool, and they really allow you to put yourself inside the relationship, even if it's not like your actual composite chart. But essentially what the composite chart does is it calculates the midpoints between people's planets, and it's typically done with the same planet. So one person's sun to another person's sun, and how this is derived is, like I said, by the midpoint. And I'll give just a simple example, but you can look this up online for the exact calculations. But if person A is a sun in Aries and person B is a sun in Gemini, they combine to have a composite sun within Taurus. The degrees are also taken to account for this. So this is why I said look up the formula and you'll essentially understand how to calculate that to the T. But I'll just give it less. So if person A is a 15-degree Aries and person B is a 15-degree Gemini, the composite sun will be 15 degrees. All right. Now, essentially, how to view this, and it's our first difference that we want to look at with synastry versus composite, is that composite sun is the combination of the two, and it essentially shows what energy is created between those two. So to give an example, synastry is your planets interacting with my planets from whatever angles that may form. Hence why you can have a sun squaring a sun. The composite is a combination. So look at it in the sense of synastry being how they interact with one another, or I even want to use an example of like how they would combat. So if we're talking about synastry, it'd be like the trine aspect creates a fluid duel between the individuals, right? So, but it's more than just that one planet. You can have one person's sun squaring another person's moon, and then having that other person's sun trine the other person's moon. So what it is that if this were a battle or a fight, the person experiencing the square would have a harder time getting off their moves or executing within the fight, whereas the person whose sun is having the trine, it's easier for them to get their moves off and things with that person. All right. I hope that example makes sense. So essentially it is how they are interacting, how they are facing off with one another. And that is derived by the aspects of conjunction, square, trine, semisextile, all that good stuff. Okay. So how do my planets, synastry is how do my planets fare against yours? Composite says when our energies combine, who are we? And the cool thing about composite is that it gives the relationship, the combination of the two people produce a whole new chart with an ascendant and all of that. So the thing I really like about the composite, like I said previously, is it allows you to really experience the purpose of the relationship, or like why you will experience particular scenarios, or why two people focus on these particular things versus another couple. All right, so running with my same example, if we have people with a composite sun, there's obviously going to be a lot of Taurian themes that when the two are as a couple are going to focus on. So that can be finances, that can be their things that they value. They will be inclined to want to experience luxury. Okay, so wrap your mind around the fact that when you combine with someone, it's kind of like combining genetics or whatever, but you're combining energy. So if you merge with a Gemini, you're going to be valuing their intellect, their communication. If you merge with an Aries, you're going to be valuing their free spirit, their bluntness, all of that, and combined, it shows how they operate together. Okay? Now, the next part of what I want to discuss here regarding synastry and composite is that a good composite can cancel out or trump the effects of harsh synastry aspects. Okay, so follow me here. Let's say within a composite, the individuals have a Cancer moon. This inclines, regardless of what their own moon signs are and how they're able to express themselves individually, together they feel emotionally comfortable and secure enough to do so. Okay? So this is why you have instances where it's like friends will be like, yeah, such and such never opens up, or I've never seen them cry. But then another friend or a partner may be like, well, I can't agree to that. Like, they open up a lot to me. That's because of what the composite creates. Okay? Now, let's say within the synastry of these two people, they have Mercury square the moon. Okay? Which would incline them to have emotional misunderstandings. Whenever someone is trying to express themselves, the message just may not be heard clearly, or, you know, there's differences in that regard. The composite Cancer moon compels them to consistently do this. And this is where it's like you learn or you over. This is why bad aspects or harsh aspects are not a death sentence. They are needed because eventually person A or B is going to learn how to understand what the other person is saying. So the composite makes for consistent themes. So there's going to be a consistent theme of emotions being shared, or emotional security, this, that, and the third. Okay? And just know that within that, there will be times where it's like, yo, I'm expressing myself to you and you're not understanding me. But over time, the people can learn how to better facilitate and understand one another. Okay? So, next thing I want to say within this regard is so the composite is a chart by itself, and the ascendant is going to be what everyone sees within the relationship. So if you have two people with a Leo rising in their composite, people are going to see them as very romantic and affectionate with one another, possibly also dramatic, and particularly if there are planets in that ascendant, it's going to be even more prevalent. Okay? 5th house is the house of children, so it would be inclined that the people together, they feel like, okay, I would definitely reproduce with this person. Or it's also the house of creativity. One person may bring out more creativity than the other. The way they spend their leisure time together may be through creative hobbies, this, that, and the third. Okay, so you want to read it. You want to read the composite like you would a chart, but it's the chart for a couple. Or, like I said, you can use children, relatives to understand the direction of the relationship. So another good thing about this, why composites are good too, is because say this is a child, you're doing it with your child, and you feel like there's a disconnect between you and your child. Then you pull up the composite and see that the moon is within the 11th house. That's a clear indicator, like, okay, our bonding is going to come through support of one another's higher humanitarian ordeals, or introducing one another to a social group, or support for those particular things. Okay? If that Venus ends up within the 7th house, it makes it as where these people generally appreciate one another and seek to keep the balance and all of that. So what I really want to highlight here is that the composite shows, really, if you ever wonder, like, man, why, even if you have like siblings, like, man, why does my sibling and my parent have a better communicative relationship than we do? It's a combination of synastry and composite, but the composite just shows where that theme is bound to play out. All right? And let me see, anything else on this particular topic? I could go for days with this, but I really just wanted to put it out there and let you guys know that even if you hear me talking about synastry aspects, you can apply the interpretations of that towards the same aspect that is within a composite. Basically, the composite just shows that aspect is probably just going to be a central part of how you feel when you think about or you talk about the relationship with, this person. So I guess while I'm here doing this, I might as well say this as well. Just like with synastry, the more important planets to look at would be obviously the moon, obviously the Venus, but particularly your chart ruler. Where does your chart ruler end up in this composite? Okay? And so what that's going to do, chart ruler as well as like sun ruler and things like that, because what that composite does is it brings that energy to the individual directly. So if a person is Mercury ruled and within their composite they have a Mercury in the 10th house, that this relationship is going to incline this person to think more about their career or be more ambitious regarding their career, or you just have to interpret it and see how it plays out. All right, so it's a lot here with it, and if you haven't looked into it, go in and check all your relationships, and particularly pay attention to that ascendant, because that ascendant will give you the immediate atmosphere of you and the other individual. All right, so y'all, this is my interpretation of everything you need to know regarding synastry charts versus composite charts. Feel free to chime in. Let me know what you think. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, you can do so now. If you need a reading, holla at me. Till next time, peace.